Hi, everyone, and welcome back to these short interviews at the Hyperight Data Talks. So today we have an exciting person with us. That is Chris Tanner, who is a head of research and development at Kensho Technologies and lecturer at MIT. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Goran. Happy to be here.
So I would like to start actually by asking you actually to introduce yourself and what do you do actually at Kensho as a role, of course.
Yeah, fair. So again, my name is Chris Tanner. I'm the head of research and development at Kensho. I've been here for a little more than a year. Absolutely love it, and but I also love teaching. So I still teach part-time at MIT, one machine learning or natural language processing course every single semester. But during my time at Kensho, which is my full-time job, I've been building up a research lab, like a world-class research lab with some really superstar researchers. So I'm very excited to be able to work with these folks. And yeah, we're working with large language models for the past year or so, along with some other ideas too. But it's really exciting to see all of the exciting work. And now large language models are a household name all throughout the community and for people who are normally outside the field. But yeah, it's been great.
Can we continue a little bit more about Kensho, and can you give us a little bit of a brief overview of what Kensho does?
Yeah, exactly. So Kensho originally started as a startup about 10 years ago and was acquired by S&P Global in 2018. And basically, Kensho is a 100-person machine learning and NLP company. So they have a suite. We have a suite of NLP products. But thanks to a lot of the work that we've been doing on the research front, we're really entering this transformative stage whereby we're kind of consolidating a lot of our products and kind of revitalizing what we're working on. And thanks to our parent company being S&P Global, we have access to arguably some of the most data in the world in terms of finance and business. So it's a really great partnership to have. So they are our main clients, right? Our parent company, but we also can have contracts with other companies too.
Going back to the exciting times, I think you mentioned as well about this exciting transformative time that we are going through right now. What have you and your team been working on in this area?
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Basically, thanks to new models such as ChatGPT, it's really allowed people to see what's possible with these large language models. And again, we've been working on this ever since I got here. Specifically, we've been doing stuff with question answering. And as you know, a lot of these large and really incredible existing large language models that exist, they're very general purpose. And there's no fault to them, but of course, the nature of these generative autoregressive language models is that they can hallucinate information. So what we're working on at Kensho is trying to change both of those things. Instead of trying to build one general purpose large language model, we're focusing on our business use cases that we care about. So building a large language model specifically for finance and business. So we have laser sharp focus within this direction. And then also to address kind of the ability to hallucinate, everybody's obviously trying to minimize the hallucinations and try to ground things to reality as much as possible. We're doing the same thing, but fortunately we have I think a pretty clever solution that my team has put together in order to do so. Basically, leveraging the existing amazing knowledge graphs and database that S&P has, right? Things such as CapIQ Pro. So without spoiling our secrets of how we do this, and again, we're in the very early stages of this, right? My team has been working within this space for about a year, and then some of this latest work or results that we have is the last few months, but basically we're minimizing hallucinations by leveraging that knowledge graph in those databases. And we're able to generate code in a really nifty way.
Nice. So how is the large language model development you've been doing at Kensho different from the general language models like ChatGPT, which has been exploding lately, right, since March?
Yeah. I mean, so in addition to the last two things that I just mentioned in terms of focusing on finance and trying to use these knowledge graphs and database to anchor it into reality, we're also doing slightly different things too. So we're really focused on long document question answering. So instead of just asking a generic question and hoping to get an answer, you can imagine uploading a gigantic PDF and asking a question where you think that the answer is probably somewhere within this PDF, or it could also not be, and being able to answer the questions no matter where the answer is within the PDF, and even do things like, kind of some citation or attribution type of concepts. So we actually have some work already. I mean, again, this is early stages, but it's come out of my research team. So I'm really impressed with what the team has been able to do. But you can imagine uploading a PDF, asking it a question, and seeing exactly where the answers came from in a nice kind of convenient way. And we've also had a lot of help within the machine learning engineers and applied scientists throughout Kensho to make this a flashy demo, right? It's not just the researchers. So we're doing that. We're also focusing on summarization. And then something that's really complex that I love, something that we're working on is within question answering, doing stuff with tables has always been difficult, right? And it's kind of a hot area to work with tables also, right? These structured representations of info, it would be great if we could leverage that. So especially within finance, a lot of information is embedded within tables. So as if question answering weren't hard enough, then when you're trying to do question answering with tables, that makes things a little more difficult. And when you're trying to do question answering, when it concerns math and some figures, right, that's when things can get really difficult. You might need to do some form of reasoning. Who knows what the columns of these tables are? There's no guarantee that the answer can even be found within tables. So we've been working on this problem for about the last 6 months. And there's this amazing data set that exists called FinQA. Fin is in financial, FinQA. Right. So we've been working on that for a bit. We currently have state-of-the-art performance. So this is a slew of what we've been working on. So mostly question answering, some summarization, and then within question answering, doing things with long documents, and then also these kind of math reasoning abilities. So we're aggressively hiring right now. We're looking for folks who have expertise in this space. And to add to our team, because our team has expertise working with large language models for the past 5 to 10 years. And but now we're getting really specific about what we're doing within question answering.
I believe you mentioned as well something or highlighting actually the importance of accuracy and transparency.
Yeah, so of course everybody within the field wishes to improve things in terms of interpretability or optimally ideally we would even hope to have explainability. So everybody's working within this or hopes to have some new insights within the space. And a way that we're approaching it is again, we're able to generate code for some of these problems on the fly. And this isn't to say that it's completely solved and now everybody has interpretability, but our way of going about answering some of these questions really allows one to see if things ever went off the rails, where it came from, because you can actually see the code that was generated to access the information within the knowledge graphs and databases.
So what are some of the ways that you can see basically this technology being used in the day-to-day lives of business or finance professionals, right?
Yeah, great question. So to zoom out for a second, I just want to remind everybody that anytime you're doing anything with human language, right, anything within NLP, it has been the case for the past 5 or so years that using a large language model is likely the crux behind the model that will provide state-of-the-art performance. Now the world knows about ChatGPT and it's very exciting. It's a really compelling model, but I just want to paint the landscape to say that this didn't come out of nowhere. It really has been the case that ever since 2017, with transformers coming about, that large language models can provide immense capabilities to whatever task one would care about within human language. And so working within finance is no exception to that. So you can imagine different business use cases of maybe clients want to interact with or create data or publish data in terms of S&P or one's own individual business use cases. So building this large language model from scratch that can provide a lot of capabilities within the space. You can do the things that I've mentioned before of asking questions, asking pertinent things that the information is only within knowledge graphs and database, right? Like if you were to ask generically, who is the CEO of this company, or what were the profits between Q1 and Q4 of the year 2017 of this particular company, you wouldn't expect a normal generic, although powerful, but you wouldn't expect those large generic language models to be able to answer as such, especially because the information can change, right? It changes over time. A lot of these things are fleeting. Or if you ask it the stock price, live stock price, or if you ask it, we can even leverage, basically can swap out different knowledge graphs. So if you have some knowledge graph that's really up to date, really up to date with some really pertinent information, that the information is found nowhere else, you can imagine doing that with what we're building.
Right. So looking ahead, what is next for Kensho? What exciting projects can you tell us about?
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, this is a really exciting and transformative time right here at Kensho, and we're continuing to work in the kind of, I would say, 2 to 3 main spaces that I outlined earlier in terms of long form document question answering, doing stuff with summarization. And then the really exciting thing for me is the complex problem of trying to do some reasoning over structured information in tables. So again, we're at the kind of early stages of prototyping these things, but there aren't many players who can compete in this space in terms of building a finance and business language model, right? We have amongst the most data in the world, probably. So that's what we're doing on the horizon. We're really building out a lot of these capabilities, and yeah, we're doing some cutting edge work here. So I'm really proud of the team, and again, we're aggressively hiring for these positions.
Perfect. That sounds super exciting. I look forward to actually speaking with you in a year time from now, and let's see how the things are developing and progressing. But it's super exciting. And if you're in Stockholm, please ping us. We would love to have you here on podcast or introduce you to some of the community that we have in the Nordics. It will be fantastic.
Thanks for the kind words. And yeah, this was a pleasure. And definitely, whenever I'm in Sweden next, we'll definitely touch base.
Perfect. Thank you much. Thank you so much for today, and see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Gordon. Thanks, everybody.